Fans will be sad to hear that the first season of House of the Dragon is over. The series has become very well liked and well known. Viewers quickly understood and liked the universe, which was similar to Game of Thrones in that it had complicated characters and a lot of hard to follow plots. With its many different plot lines and detailed script, the writing really connected with the audience. We've made a short list of the best parts of season 1 of House of the Dragon. Will your choices be included? The King's tourney and Vaemond Valerian's swift beheading. House of the Dragon season premiere is a busy one. It not only introduces us to a lot of the season's most important characters, but it also sets up relationships that will be very important in later episodes. The King's tournament, in which Viserys plans to celebrate the birth of his son, is one of the best parts of the first episode. The scene introduces us to Criston Cole, who will become a King's Guard. He has a wild temper and a lot of combat experience, which makes that temper scary. We also learn more about the Daemons, which has quickly become one of the best parts of House of the Dragon. The fact that Vaemond Valerian is loyal to his house and wants the Driftmark crown is what brings him down. In the second half of episode 8, he dies in a shocking way when he calls Rhaenyra's children bastards and angers the sick King Viserys. "Give me your mouth," the king says, this as he pulls a dagger out of his cloak. But Daemon, who has been watching Vaemond, smirking and quietly encouraging him, cuts off the top half of the man's head and says he can keep his mouth shut. Given Vaemond's status and importance to the story, it was a bit surprising that he died so quickly and with so little pomp. Still, it's a memorable moment and one of the first big deaths on the show. Next, bloodless standoff at Dragonstone, and Criston Cole beats a guy to death over a perceived threat. Both Daemon Targaryen and Otto Hightower are dangerously close to fighting at Dragonstone because of their beef with each other. In the second episode, the Rogue Prince, Otto, Sir Criston Cole, and some other members of the Targaryen army ask Daemon to give back a dragon egg that he stole. The standoff doesn't turn violent. Daemon, as expected, does not make this easy. The scene is so tense that it's almost impossible to watch. It's an early example of how well written the show is. For a few minutes, it looks like a hard fight is going to happen. Rhaenyra shows up and talks her uncle into giving up the egg before anything crazy can happen. There are swords drawn, but no one gets hurt. This scene is a great example of how to build suspense. Since this scene is so disturbing, it seems strange to put it on a best of list, but it has a clear goal: to show Criston Cole for who he really is and help him finish switching to Alicent's side of the conflict. Sir Criston beating Laenor Valerian's lover to a bloody pulp over a veiled threat is scary enough, but the writers show us the dead man's tenderized face to make the point even more clear. Criston is a mean, cruel jerk. His actions here make him look more like a crazed pet than a respected King's Guard, but they're nothing compared to the terrible things he'll do later. Moving on, Aemon Targaryen claims Vhagar and Princess Rhaenys and her dragon crash Aegon's coronation. When we can read all of the House of Dragon in a few years, Aemon Targaryen's claim on Vhagar is likely to still be one of the best parts of the series. Rhaenyra and Daemon are busy, so young Aemon goes to a nearby beach to find Vhagar so he can claim her. The huge dragon then pulls him into the sky and gives us all one of the best, most exciting, and most important scenes of the season. Not only does this event have a big impact on the season finale, you'll see why, but it also shows us important things about the relationship between dragon and rider, which will only become more important as the show goes on. Fans who have read Fire and Blood know that Meleys, the dragon, is under the command of Princess Rhaenys, who is also known as the Queen Who Never Was. But until the second to last episode of the season, we had only seen Rhaenys and not her winged pet. In the last few moments of the Green Council, Rhaenys frees Meleys and leaves King's Landing, but not before he thinks about Alicent and Aegon's quick and understandable deaths by fire. She doesn't kill them and runs away from Aegon's coronation, likely to join Rhaenyra, Daemon, and the others. But fret not, Rhaenys fans, she and Meleys will be back, and if the book is any indication, round 2 is going to be a doozy. Next up, late night family feuding and the death of Viserys Targaryen. After Lucerys takes Aemon's eye in a bloody fight, King Viserys meets with both sides, Alicent and her children, and Rhaenyra, Daemon, and the Strong Boys, and Valyrian girls. Everyone there seems surprised that they were all called together so late at night. Alicent wants to know why her son had to lose an eye because of the fight. Rhaenyra asks Lucerys why he cut off his eye. He tells her that Aemon called him and his brother Jacaerys bastards. This leads to a heated argument about where and who started the rumor. Some of the best writing in the show so far is in this scene. So much happens in this 5-minute fight. Alicent and Rhaenyra show how unfriendly they are toward each other now, and Alicent goes crazy, demanding Lucerys' eye as payment for Aemon's. So much action, and the war hasn't even started yet. The whole season has been building up to this moment. Viserys is too sick and in too much pain near the end of his life to do anything but sleep and drink milk of the poppy. Otto Hightower and a few other members of the small council are waiting for him to die, and Rhaenyra can barely hold it together. After all, she has spent years watching her father slowly die from Westerosi leprosy. The scene where Viserys dies is done very well, but he doesn't really die in front of us. We see that he's about to die, but the showrunners put the emotional weight on the idea that he is about to die instead of his actual death. It shows how well Ryan Condal and Miguel Sapochnik have written this character even more. Here, emotions and characters are emphasized more than ever, and it works out beautifully. Aemon and Vhagar kill Lucerys and Viserys' Last Supper. In the last part of House of the Dragon, Lucerys Velaryon dies because Aemon and his huge dragon Vhagar are too strong for him. The moment itself is a horrible one. After getting away from Aemon for a while, Lucerys and his dragon Eryx are riding high above a storm when Vhagar shows up and rips Eryx in half. Both parties of the dragon's body spin away toward the sea, and Lucerys' body is somewhere in the mess. This fight has been coming for a long time. Lucerys took Aemon's eye after he claimed Vhagar and started a fist fight a few episodes ago. We knew that Aemon had something to say, we just didn't know that he would get even in the cruelest way possible. It does, however, make for very interesting TV. At this point, King Viserys has been slowly dying for a few episodes, but it's not until this last tragic dinner that we realize this is his last meal. It's a powerful scene with clever barbs and sneaky provocation, but Paddy Considine's performance as the sick king is stunning. We can feel his sadness, regret, and his desperate but pointless wish that his family would make things right. House of the Dragon has never been this strong. Viserys is a kind king who wants everyone to be happy. Unfortunately, his good intentions and desire to make everyone happy often work against him. Here, as he eats his last meal with his family, all of him, good and bad, comes crashing together in a heartbreaking performance that will probably get Considine a nomination for an Emmy. This scene also gets bonus points for hinting at some juicy drama between Aemon and Lucerys. Finally, Vaemond flies a complaint regarding Driftmark. Daemon defends Viserys and Alicent's green dress. Vaemond goes to King's Landing with a petition to get Lucerys removed as the heir to Driftmark. Vaemond wants to take his place, and it seems like he might be able to do so after making his case to Alicent and Otto. But Viserys shows up in a big way. He doesn't understand why they are having this meeting when Lucerys is already the heir. This scene has so many well-known parts. Viserys won't let anyone but Daemon help him, so Daemon puts the king's crown back on his head. Rhaenyra and her child are attacked by Vaemond. A sick and weak Viserys gets up from his chair and pulls out a knife. Daemon finally steps in to protect his family by cutting off Vaemond's head. In episode 5, Alicent walks into the hall. While Viserys is giving a speech, she's wearing a beautiful green gown. In this scene, Larys asks, "Do you know what color it glows when Old Town calls its banners to war?" The Strong brothers set the scene, and Harwin replies, "Green." Larys and Criston told Alicent that Rhaenyra lied, so she found out for herself and now wears green to show she's ready to fight. She says that she has made plans to fight against her old friend and put her son on the Iron Throne. In this scene, Alicent shows a strength that people haven't seen in her before. Even though Daemon has a lot of problems, his love for his brother is a big thing that makes up for them. Daemon does cause Viserys a lot of extra stress that he doesn't need. He goes to every event just to make trouble, seduces Rhaenyra, Viserys' daughter, kills his first wife, and does a lot more. But when Corlys says something bad about Viserys, Daemon is quick to stand up for his brother. He says that only he can say bad things about Viserys, which is true, but he doesn't let anyone else do it. And this shows a common and sweet way that siblings get along. All we can do now is wait for the next season to be released. Unfortunately, guys, that's all the time we have for today. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Till next time, cheers.